Hey guys, in this video I want to cover the protein sources in ProGym. You guys that have read my articles on using a protein blend and watch my videos know that it's absolutely critical to consume a protein that provides both very fast digesting whey and very slow digesting casein, particularly micellar casein versus caseinates. There's a real difference. Micellar casein is the true slow digesting casein. The caseinates, due to the processing that they undergo, are not quite as slow digesting as true micellar casein. People wonder, now, why would I use a milk protein isolate in ProGym versus just using the whey and the casein? Well, it comes down to the fact that milk protein isolate is a very pure form of both whey and micellar casein. The milk protein undergoes very minimal processing. So what you end up with is a very true form of micellar casein and whey protein. Milk protein isolate makes a nice source of both those critical proteins. So why didn't I just use milk protein then? Well, you're only going to get 20% whey and 80% casein, which is just, not enough of the whey. So to make up the difference, it gets easier by adding in some whey isolate and some actual micellar casein. And that way you get the perfect blend, which I have in ProGym, which is slightly more of the micellar casein and less of the whey, but not 20%, more like 40% of whey, 50% of the micellar casein, and then you have that 10% egg protein, which sort of bridges the two. You have the fast digesting whey, you've got the medium digesting egg protein in there, and then you've got the very, very slow digesting micellar casein. So the whey gives you this nice rapid spike in protein synthesis. The egg protein then, which is medium digesting, keeps providing the body amino acids, so it continues that protein synthesis at a high rate that the whey protein started, and then the micellar casein keeps carrying that protein synthesis on hours and hours on after. And what the research has found is that when you are adding casein to your whey like that, not only is protein synthesis maximized for longer, but so is the actual results in muscle strength and muscle mass gains. That's really what we're all interested in. Using one or the other, whey or casein by itself, is not going to give you the maximal benefits. You'll still get decent benefits, but not quite the maximal benefits, because if you just use whey, you get a quick spike in protein synthesis that then drops. If you use just micellar casein, you don't get that quick enough spike, particularly post-workout, but you do get a continual increase in muscle protein synthesis. So you really want to have both. Look, I've been doing this for over almost 2 decades now. Supplement companies have looked at my articles in Muscle and Fitness and Flex and bodybuilding.com and use that information to manufacture products. Unfortunately, they don't quite grasp what I'm saying, and they have to cut corners, so a lot of times you're not getting the perfect product, which is why I had to come out with the Gym Supplement Science line. But that's basically what they've been doing and what they're continuing to do, especially now that I've launched my own line. So you'll see a lot of other companies now coming out with their own blends, trying to put out a 50% of whey, 50% of casein, but really they're missing the point. Even with a 50-50%, it's not quite perfect. 50-50 is still good, but like I said, you really want to have more of the micellar casein than the whey. But also, what I really want to point out here is on the front of the jug right there, I have the actual precise amounts of each of those protein sources so that you know what you're getting in the 24 grams of protein that's listed on the jug. You can see that all adds up to 24 grams. There's no BSing here. There's no cutting corners. But another problem with protein manufacturing is just flat out lies. They're just not actually putting the full amount of protein in there. So if it says 24 grams of protein and you actually test their product, it doesn't have 24 grams in there. A lot of them are coming under 70% of what they're listing on the label. With ProGym, you don't have to worry about that. This is what I formulated for myself to take. I'm certainly not going to shortchange myself just to make a buck on a protein powder. And that's why ProGym costs more, because you're getting what you're paying for. There's a very small percentage of protein powders that actually meet what they're claiming on the label as far as total protein. That literally disgusts me. And that's why I came out with ProGym. When I launched Gym Supplement Science, I really didn't plan on doing a protein powder. But then as the data started coming out on these protein powders, I literally didn't want to take anyone else's protein powders, because literally every single one that I saw the data from was not hitting what they were claiming on the label. So I wanted to make sure that what I was getting was 100% accurate, so that I know that when I'm calculating my macros for the day, I'm getting the precise amount of protein. ProGym is one of the very few out there that you can trust to provide you actual 24 grams of pure protein in each scoop, not from amino acids, but from full proteins, from whey, from egg, from casein. You're getting what you're paying for. I promise you that. And like I said, it's one of the few out there that you can truly trust. So look for the new tubs of ProGym. Literally one of the few protein powders on the market that you can trust to not only deliver you the results that you expect, but also the actual product.